one more time.
Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And welcome to the State of the Saints podcast on a Saints Victory Monday. Thank you very much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. On this edition of the State of the Saints podcast, we're going to be talking about the New Orleans Saints, of course, but we're going to be talking mostly about quarterback Drew Brees. And we have to ask this question. Is Drew Brees holding back the Saints offense? You know, before I get started, I just want to just go ahead and address the elephant in the room, because everybody knows anytime you talk about Drew Brees, you have Saints fans that want to get in their feelings and want to talk about, you know, Drew Brees, he the greatest, he the GOAT, he the best, all that noise right there. So I want to go ahead and put this disclaimer out there and say, this has absolutely nothing to do with what Drew Brees has done in the Saints uniform for the past 15 years. Absolutely nothing. I do understand that the Saints won on yesterday, but that still does not mean that we cannot break certain things down, because that's what we do, right? We get upset when things don't go our way, right? Let's just say, for example, if the Saints didn't win yesterday and Drew Brees played the way he did, I guarantee you my inbox, my Facebook page, my emails would be flooded with, oh, Drew Brees need to get up out of town. We need to address these situations whether you want to or not. And we're definitely going to do it on the State of the Saints podcast, because I feel like it needs to be discussed. Look, I completely understand. I understand Who That Nation. I get you. You know, you look at somebody like Drew Brees, you look at someone like a Michael Jordan, you look at somebody like even a Tom Brady. And we look at these guys and we look at them as being these great figures, right? The ones that we cheer for, the ones that we idolize. And it's hard for us to see what's right there in our face. And I have to be honest with you, Who That Nation, the way that Drew Brees has played the last two times I've seen him play in the Saints uniform is very alarming to me. I got some stats right here that I need to read. Drew Brees had 160 yards passing yesterday and 2 touchdowns. He had like 95 yards late into the third quarter, until that big deep pass to Jared Cook. And now, you know what I'm saying, it bumped him up to about 160 yards passing. He had 2 touchdowns once again. But I'm looking over the last 2 games that Drew Brees had. He had a grand total of 368 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 turnovers. Drew Brees could have easily had 2 turnovers yesterday. Okay, there was a pass interference called twice. One on Emmanuel Sanders. You know, when Emmanuel Sanders was down the field, they called pass interference when the defender pulled him down. There was a play where another pass interference took place, same thing, Emmanuel Sanders, and that pass was picked off. And then I seen a pass in the back of the end zone where he tried to force the pass to Emmanuel Sanders, and that could have been intercepted by Antoine Warfield Jr. And like I said, we look at Drew Brees and we don't pay attention to these things because it worked in our favor. But that's what we do as Saints fans sometimes. Like, if things work in our favor, we don't address them. We don't say anything about them, but we won't whine and cry and boo-hoo when things don't go our way. And then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, it's just great injustice that goes on. Look, like I said, I know the Saints won yesterday, but I'm looking towards the future. And we have to admit the defense played a lot better than the offense played yesterday. Michael Thomas was a non-factor. You know, I mean, there was so many passes that Drew Brees threw. I mean, it was just unconventional. I mean, sailing the ball over the head of Alvin Kamara when he was wide open, underthrowing Emmanuel Sanders. Like we have to address this, folks. The Saints have too many talented pieces on offense, and they have guys that can actually stretch the field. Deontay Harris, a guy that can stretch the field. Traquan Smith, a guy who can stretch the field. Michael Thomas is a guy who can, that can get vertical as well. And like I said, people always want to sit up here and complain when the Saints lose, right? And we want to sit out here and ignore the issues. But if these problems keep on occurring, I have to be honest with you, folks. I'm gonna be very, very concerned. I'm gonna be very, very concerned because I'm figuring out. Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out how to get the ball down the field. And this isn't like this hasn't happened before. This is a conversation we haven't had in the past. So we've been dealing with the same issues. And then, some people want to talk about the offensive line. Yes, the offensive line did get whipped yesterday, but would they get whooped if we actually had a quarterback that can maneuver in the pocket, that can roll out, that can actually fight for extra yards? For example, we looked at Taysom Hill, right? Taysom Hill was supposed to throw the ball down the field. He couldn't see anybody. He tucked the ball down, ran for about 15 yards. This is not the NFL of old, okay? You can't stand in the pocket, standing strong, looking like Rob Johnson and Scott Mitchell anymore. You got to be able to run out of the pocket. You got to be able to fight for extra yards. You got to be able to run out of the pocket and slide. And I feel like this is going to be one of those issues because now the blueprint is out on Drew Brees. You put your best pass rushers up the middle, up the gut, and you blow up the middle, and you go right in them and bring them, bring that pressure right to his front door because they know that he cannot see over the offensive line. So, like I said, it's concerning, and I feel like we need to address this even though it's week one, because like I said, the last time we seen the New Orleans Saints in a wild card round, the offense kind of looked the same way. It's like how it looked in the second half. And the offense really wasn't a non-factor. So I would love to hear from you. I would like to know what you all think about Drew Brees. What do you think about the Saints offense? Do you think they're going to get better as time go on? Or do you think that this is, is this a foreshadow of things to come? Simba says pick six, block field goal, 2 interceptions, onside kick, and a Sanders tub. Everything about the Saints defense, was good yesterday. The special teams played good from the block punt, from the 2 interceptions from the defense, from the onside kick recovery. So, the Saints offense had a lot of help. This was a game that was the true definition of complimentary football. But, I know, like I said, I already know, the people that don't think that Drew Brees can do anything wrong, people that just think that Drew Brees, walk on water. I know they about to come up in here and flood it out, but I'm just telling you what I saw, and I'm just telling you what I've seen. And like I said, I feel like this is something that is very, very alarming to me. Very, very alarming. Let me see. Let's start right here. It says our offense always plays like that in the first game. They didn't do that against the Houston Texans. They didn't play like that against the Houston Texans. They played pretty doggone good last season. Now, I do agree with a lot of your points. Appreciate that, Derek. Living for Kendrick said Drew is a game manager now. Yeah, and that's something that we have to understand too. Like I said, it is hard for us to realize that our heroes are not what they used to be. When Jordan went to the Washington Wizards, we knew him as Michael Jordan, but he was a mere shell of himself. He wasn't the same Michael Jordan he was for the Chicago Bulls all those years. He wasn't, You look at somebody like Peyton Manning. His last season with the Denver Broncos, he was a non-factor. And I just feel like, look, I hate having this conversation, but it's true. Drew Brees does not look the same. And I look, it is going to be a problem if the Saints cannot get vertical offensively throughout the season like this. I'm sorry. And what have you seen? This is for all my people out here that's want to laugh and want to say that I'm overreacting. What have you seen from Drew Brees over the past, I say about 6 or 7 games that can tell you that the Saints can get vertical and that this isn't the way that the Saints offense is going to be constructed from here on out? What have you seen? What have you seen from Drew Brees that can tell you that this isn't what it's going to be? It's going to be a dink and dunk conservative offense. I mean, what have you seen? I just want to know. That's why our line's supposed to protect Drew. What are we really talking about? Look, man, the offensive line is supposed to protect Drew Brees, but why are we acting like the statue quarterback is still a factor in the NFL? Like that's what I don't understand. Like we want the offensive line to protect Drew Brees for 5 to 6 seconds. You're supposed to get the ball out of your hand. No longer than 3 seconds. No longer should you have the ball in your hand for 3 seconds. If Drew Brees holding on to the football because you know what I'm saying, the person that's downfield, he can't get the ball to him, and the ones that's on the short intermediate routes are being covered. I mean, what do you expect out of the offensive line? What do you expect? That is why it's very important in today's NFL to have a quarterback with the ability to scramble, to roll out of the pocket, to get extra yards. Standing in the pocket, standing strong, looking, you know what I'm saying, looking strong in the pocket, you know what I'm saying, and being back there long enough to knit a sweater, these days are over. You have interior linemen that are about as athletic as a defensive end. And we expect the offensive line just to stand up there and wait for about 5-6 seconds protecting Drew Brees. Come on, man. What are we talking about here? You're saying, what are we talking about? What are we talking about here? I mean, it's never Drew Brees' fault for some reason. It's never Drew Brees' fault. Anytime Drew Brees struggle, it's the offensive line fault. Anytime Drew Brees throws less than 100 yards, it's the offensive line fault. Well, newsflash, folks. I got the stats right here. There's been times where the offensive line has played outstanding and Drew Brees still hasn't eclipsed 250 yards. So where's the excuse there? It's always about the offensive line. Man, the offensive line. Like, seriously, man, how is it that Taysom Hill, under the same offensive line, can be productive, passing the ball and running the ball between the tackles? You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I'm saying, fighting for extra yards. But Drew Brees, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, always constantly getting pressured. So I'm just saying, the new NFL is about guys scrambling out of pockets. Think about some of the best quarterbacks out there right now. My guy, Russell Wilson, he'll stand in a pocket, but he will run the football if he needs to. Patrick Mahomes, he can throw the ball down the field, but he will scramble if he needs to. Deshaun Watson, the same thing. Kyler Murray, the same thing. What is different? I mean, you talk about the Arizona Cardinals offensive line all the time. Talk about how their offensive line hasn't been good over the past couple of years. People are still wondering how are they going to protect Kyler Murray. But Kyler Murray went out there and balled out. Almost had 100 yards rushing and had over 200 yards passing. So I'm saying, for all those people out there that still living in the past who feel like, oh, man, the offensive line is really designed just to protect a statuesque quarterback that stand in the pocket and do nothing, those days are over, folks. You keep on believing that if you want to, and watch the NFL passes you by. That's not what the NFL is about now. You see more coaches, more organizations going out there, getting guys that could scramble in the pocket, that can roll out, that can fight for extra yards. So if you want the offensive line to stand up there and become the Great Wall of Dallas back in 1992, you're sadly mistaken. And we definitely got to get a little bit more explosive. You got to have more explosive plays down the field. I think about that pass that Jared Cook caught. The reason why Jared Cook caught that pass, I'm about to let y'all know. It wasn't the fact that, oh, it was Drew Brees, he gave a good pump fake. Nah, he got what I like to call the Russell Westbrook treatment. You remember everybody was talking about Russell Westbrook in game 2 against the Lakers and how he couldn't hit the back of a barn door? He was out there wide open. Nobody wanted to guard him at the three-point spot because they knew it was inevitable that he was going to miss a shot. That safety slowed up on that route because he did not believe in his heart that Drew Brees can get the ball downfield. Like I said, the blueprint is out, folks. Nobody believes that the Saints can get vertical anymore. And honestly, what have you seen for people too respect the Saints' deep passing game. What have you seen? What gives you the optimism that, they're going to be able to get the ball down the field? They're going to have more explosive plays. What's giving you that optimism? Why? A 30-second clip of Drew Brees throwing the ball downfield in the offseason with nobody draping all over, no pressure, no nothing. So that gives you that type of optimism. I got the numbers right here, folks. The numbers don't lie. Okay, Drew Brees is always efficient. Well, he was 20 for 25. Or he was 22 for 24. I mean, he's always efficient. But the ball ain't going nowhere. You might as well just have the passing game as an extension of the running game. If you just throwing for like 5 and 2 yards. Like, give me a break, man. Like, we got to be serious. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to hear people whining and crying and boo-hooing when the Saints lose and these problems occur. That's all I'm saying. Let's stop. We want to dance and do the Benson boogie when the Saints win. But we don't want to address the issues. What kind of stuff is this? You know what I'm saying? What kind of stuff is this? Why do we have to wait for the sky to fall in order for us to address these situations? Why we have to wait for the roof to collapse and for us to go on top of the roof and patch this thing up? We got to talk about it, man. And I'm happy that the Saints won. But I'm not going to sit up here and pretend like, you know what I'm saying, this was just a lights out performance. They looked horrible offensively. They looked horrible. There were some bright spots, yes, but overall, they didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing in the second half except for that deep throw and that Taysom Hill, you know what I'm saying, lateral pass. I mean, that backwards pass that he threw to Alvin Kamara. That was it. Besides that, I mean, they were just out there getting misused and abused offensively. Couldn't do nothing. The only one that actually did something was Latavius Murray. That was the best decision Sean Payton made. As horrible of a play calling performance he had, that was the best performance or the best decision that he made is getting Latavius Murray involved in this game. We don't want to talk about problems when we're on top. That's what I don't understand about the Who Dat Nation. You want me to sit up here, man, you need to read the riot act to such and such when the Saints lose. No. And I definitely don't want to hear from anybody, if your response is, the Saints won, and you're not looking at, they got 15 more games they got to play, and we're looking at the same issues. Like, think about this. We've been talking about these same issues for about a year and a half. A year and a half. And we still are talking about these situations today. So I'm sorry, folks. I hate to spoil everybody's Monday morning. I hate to be the buzzkill in the room. But this is going to be a problem, folks. This is going to be a problem. You know, if they can't find ways to be more explosive and, not just looking at the screen game and, and not focusing on getting the ball vertical, it's going to be a problem. It is, man. It definitely is. Manny says, real talk, it's the new NFL. NFL, you have to have a quarterback that can move fast. You definitely got to have one that can move fast, Manny. You ain't got to be Lamar Jackson. You ain't got to be Michael Vick. You don't. You don't have to be any of those guys. That's why I think people get things misconstrued. No, you don't have to be a 4.3, 40 running quarterback. But you definitely got to have the ability to scramble out of the pocket. You definitely got to have the ability to move around in the pocket. You got to be able to improvise. I mean, it's just the truth. People just think about, look, it is not the classic NFL. Look, I grew up in the 90s. My memories as a child are the early 90s. And I understand. Used to have the big, burly offensive linemen that used to dominate the smaller defensive ends. And you used to have like maybe one, maybe two guys that would just stand out among the crowd. But it was always this big, burly offensive line that nobody could penetrate on the defensive line. But it's a brand new day and age. You have these genetic freaks that are on the defensive line. You got guys that 300 plus pounds moving like they a running back. And you expect, like they used to do back in the day, these big 300-pound offensive linemen to not be able to stop some of these top defensive ends? Like, give me a break. Like, you're playing yourself if you think that the offensive line of New Orleans Saints going to be able to just hold up against some of these elite pass rushes from week to week, and nothing is going to happen to Drew Brees. They ain't going to be able to sneeze on him. I'm sorry, folks, but you're sadly mistaken. Shaq Barrett get paid to sack the quarterback, and Ndamukong Suh get paid to sack the quarterback. Via Vea, you know what I'm saying? Jason Pierre-Paul. These guys get paid to rush the quarterback, and they do a pretty doggone good job of it. So all these things about, man, with the offensive line, man, look at him, man. They ain't helping Drew Brees out. But Drew Brees ain't really helping them out that much either. Okay? I mean, you're definitely not helping out the offense if you're being checked down Charlie. I mean, I'm sorry, folks, it's the truth. You got to be able to adapt. Okay? You got to be able to do that. And honestly, for all those people out there that's thinking that I'm overreacting again, do you think that you will see Taysom Hill? Do you think you'll see Taysom Hill throwing the ball down the field as much as he does if the Saints believe that Drew Brees can get the ball down the field on a consistent basis? Like, seriously, do you think you will see Taysom Hill in the game for all of the deep throws and the deep shots down the field? Would you? Look, y'all thinking I'm not believing in him. Look at what the play calls are. Look at them. The play that Taysom Hill ran and tucked the ball for about 15 yards, that was supposed to be a deep shot down the field. Why isn't nobody paying attention to that? Oh, I'm overreacting. Hey, you overreacting, TJ, man. Man, Drew Brees, man, he's still the same he always been, man. They're going to get it together. When, man? Like, look, this isn't like I'm just talking about from what I just seen yesterday. I'm talking about going back since last year. The topic of conversation outside of a number 2 receiver has been why the Saints can't get the ball down the field. And if you think that the Saints are going to make it to the Super Bowl, dinking and dunking, nickel and diming, pinning and quartering it down the field, you out your mind. You're crazy. Like I said, don't kill the messenger, man. I'm just telling you what I see. We know he can't. Why does he remain the starter is the question, though. Because he deserves, Rob. He deserves it. Like, don't get it twisted. Drew Brees is still Drew Brees. Drew Brees still gives you the best chance to win. But, I mean, and you're definitely, if he's efficient and he's out there, doing his thing, I mean, it's hard for you to say, man, Drew, nah, this ain't it. We got to get somebody else in here. Now, Drew Brees was throwing interceptions left and right. I mean, it was pretty obvious that, the team just can't do nothing with him. And he just, man, out of here. Then you go in another direction. He does enough in order for him to stay in there. And Drew Brees does deserve to retire. I feel like this is his last year. He does deserve to retire, on his own accord. But what I'm saying is, man, like, we just got to face facts to me, okay? We got to face facts. In my opinion, Drew Brees is holding back this offense's full potential because you got a lot of explosive players out there. Do you not see Deontay Harris? Look, I know the guy didn't score yesterday, and that's all we pay attention to. Did he score? Did he score a touchdown? Deontay Harris, I'm telling you, man, if Deontay Harris had a quarterback that can get him the ball down the field, dude would be virtually unstoppable. He would, man. If the perfect quarterback right now for the Saints would be a guy who had Jameis Winston's arm strength and Drew Brees' quarterback mind. That would be the first. That would be the best thing. That would be a perfect combination. The arm strength of Jameis Winston and the quarterback player Drew Brees. I mean, the Saints would be virtually unstoppable. Saints fan fall in love with a player and want to keep them for 30 years. Roland, I agree with that. we love nostalgia. We love nostalgia and big names. We don't want to let guys go. We want to hold on to them. And I'm not saying it like I don't know. I'm from New Orleans. I know New Orleans is full of traditionalists who don't want to let anything go. Who still want to hold on to the past with everything that they have. I often crack a joke and I say, you have a guy who stands in front of the corner store for no apparent reason at all, just because he's the guy known for standing in front of the corner store. You got guys that stay under the bridge just because he was the guy known for standing under the bridge. We love traditions down in New Orleans. It's hard for us to let those things go. And it's hard for us to see what's right in front of our eyes. It's like when you're in love with somebody, right? That person gained a little weight. They look a little different, but you can't see it, man. The only thing you see is the person that you love. That's all you see. You see the person that I fell in love with. You're still the same person. Drew Brees is not the same person. He's not. He's not the same quarterback. And look, he's 41 years old. I mean, I'm 34 right now, man. I can't do the things I did when I was 24. So I only can imagine what it will be when I'm 44. Won't be able to do the things I'm doing at 34. It happens, man. It's just a part of life. And like I said, I just wanted to discuss this because we can't just pay attention to things when things are going wrong for the Saints. I feel like you need a healthy balance. Brian says he's talking to Invictus Samaritan. Who that? What do you think about New Orleans, if you don't mind me asking? I don't know if he's asking. Yeah, he's asking Invictus, I assume. I mean, for no preseason games and it's being their first, which we typically always lose our first game of the season, I say they did better than I expected, especially against an overhyped Buccaneers team. But hey, that's just my opinion. Look, that you make some good points. I'm not going to lie to you on that. They often lose the first game of the season. I mean, last season they won. It seemed like they trended in the right direction in that regard, and they did do some good things defensively. I'm not knocking that. I think that they had some bright spots on the New Orleans Saints team. The defense looked outstanding. The special teams looked outstanding. The offense was one of the main issues, surprisingly. And the fact about no preseason games, look, I can't accept that. I can't accept that at all, because I watched somebody like Patrick Mahomes ball out. I watched somebody like Russell Wilson ball out. No preseason. Okay. I've seen Kyler Murray ball out. No preseason. So I can't accept the fact that there was no preseason. That should be the excuse. And you know what I'm saying? And it definitely shouldn't have been an excuse, because look who the Saints have. All the same usual suspects, for the exception of Emmanuel Sanders. It's the same usual suspects. The same chemistry that they had over the past 2 years came into the Saints organization. They should be further ahead than any other team. I mean, look at the Seattle Seahawks, the way they beat down the Atlanta Falcons. So I can't accept that. I cannot accept, they didn't have no preseason. Nah. You probably can say that for Tom Brady, believe it or not. I mean, I can accept that. New team, whole bunch of new players on the team. If you want to run that narrative, fine. I mean, I think he just looked horrible, in my honest opinion. But I can't accept that. I can't accept a team that brought back all those familiar faces. I can't accept the fact that, they didn't have no OTAs. And that's the reason why. Nah. Russell Wilson, I think he only threw like 3 incompletions yesterday. I mean, we look at Patrick Mahomes out there balling out. What do you have, about 4 touchdowns? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns. I can't accept that. I can't accept it. The defense has to be above average, elite, and opportunistic in order for us to compete in January. Brees is old, folks. He isn't the same quarterback from 2011 was a long time ago. That's all I'm saying. You're going to need a stout defense. You're going to need a really good running game. I like the way that they use Latavius Murray. Once again, I like the way they use Alvin Kamara. I like the balance. You had more rushing plays than passing plays. I can get down with that. But you really got to help out Drew Brees. This is one of those years, folks, that we can't rely on Drew Brees to take us there. The defense and all the other pieces on this team is going to have to pick up the pace, do their thing in order for the Saints to get over the hump. Ren says, I totally agree with you. Man, shouts out to Ren, man. Always a part of the State of the Saints podcast. Ryan says, our team is the best in the league. The critique is warranted, but with the best quarterback room in the league, I ain't worried about Brees unless he starts making bull mistakes. Otherwise, I got Brees. I mean, that's your prerogative, Ryan. I ain't got no problem with that. And like I said, I understand we won yesterday. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I hate to be the guy that, like I said, be the buzzkill, but I mean, he's not the same quarterback. And I just feel like we're going to be talking about this down the line. There are going to be some games where we're like, man, I don't know, man. And I just think right now we're not looking at it because we won. You know, so I just think that we just need to, I think we need to, you know, have a good balance. It's good for them to win, but we have to talk about some of those issues that are very, very alarming. Drew Brees holding us back for 4 years. I don't want to say 4 years, but I definitely will say, it's been questionable for the last 2. Because 2017, he played pretty good. 2018, you know, I mean, he was up for the MVP. It was him and Mahomes. And then after that game against the Cowboys, they kind of fell back. 2019, you can start seeing it. And in 2020, from what I'm seeing right now, it looked like it's trickling over from 2019 to 2020. So I'm going to say 2. I'm going to say 2 out of 4. I ain't going to say 4 years. So we not going to give Tampa Bay defense credit? No, I'm not. I'm not living for Kendrick. I'm not going to give them credit. You know why I'm not going to give them credit? Because the same thing that got us beat in a wild card round of the playoffs last season is the same thing that I seen from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on yesterday. Don't believe me? Go back and watch that game. Go back and watch how the defensive line of the Minnesota Vikings was doing some of the same things the defensive line of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were doing. Go back and take a look at it. And go back and take a look at some of the decision-making of Drew Brees in that game and the game on yesterday. See, we don't focus on the things that happened in the past, right? We look at everything that's right there in front of us. The only thing that we have to go off right now is the fact that Drew Brees actually won the football game on yesterday. So all of a sudden, we don't want to look at that. Oh, you know what I'm saying? See no evil, hear no evil. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't see nothing. So go back and look at that Minnesota Vikings game and go look at this game on yesterday and tell me that you don't see some of the same issues in the decision-making and some of the passes that were being thrown on yesterday. And then we can talk about that. I ain't giving them credit for nothing. I mean, we already know the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense was pretty doggone good. We already knew that. They were good last year, okay? I feel like the Saints actually played pretty much better. You know, the fact that you have Villa Vea and you have Ndamukong Suh in the middle, and the Saints had most of their success running the football up the gut. So, of course, you have people like Devin White, Levante David. I mean, come on, man. Like, of course, you got super athletic linebackers. But I'm looking at it's like it's like a rerun. I'm watching a wild card game against the Vikings, and they're looking the same way against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man. I think it needs to be discussed. It needs to be discussed. I'm sorry. I know they say short passes are extension of the run, but it's not as effective as running up the middle with Latavius. It just looks like stat padding. When Taysom enters, it's electrifying. Taysom Hill is a fire starter for the New Orleans Saints right now. And I just think that Taysom Hill is going to be the reason why the Saints win a couple games this season. The way that they use him, it looks like they're starting to trust him more with passing the football. I seen a couple RPOs, you know what I'm saying? He got stopped in the backfield. He almost scored a touchdown late in the game. It's he's gonna be one of those guys, man. He's gonna be one of the guys that gonna win some games, and he's gonna be like really effective in some of these games. We have 3 quarterbacks, one with accuracy, one who can run it, and one who has arm strength. Use all 3. Play calls and use all 3. Kimberly, I agree, but I disagree a little bit. Okay. I don't feel like you should use 3 quarterbacks because that's taking away reps from your starting quarterback. You know, they say the old saying from John Madden, they say if you got 2 starting quarterbacks or 2 quarterbacks, you ain't got none. Okay. So if you have 3, you definitely don't have it, you know, and I feel like it would definitely mess with the chemistry of the team. You know, I mean, when you have Taysom Hill coming into the game, you know what I'm saying, on 4 or 5 plays or something, it's not really disrupting the rhythm of Drew Brees. But when you're talking about bringing in Jameis and bringing in Taysom, you know, like just switching them out like personnel like you would do on a defensive line or at the wide receiver position, I think that's a recipe for disaster. So I do feel like they need to use Taysom. You know, I think they've been using him in the right way, but using Jameis too, I think that would be a tad bit much. I mean, I do feel like all those guys, I agree with you. They do 3 different things, but that does mess with the chemistry of the team offensively, you know, and the repetition of the starting quarterback. Did you not see a 46-yard pass to Cooks? Yeah, but what else did I see? Danny, what else did you see? You seen one pass. You seen one 46-yard pass to Jared Cook that the safety did not believe that can get down the field. What else did you see? What else did you see? Like, honestly, what other explosive plays that you seen that was down the field? What the almost, you know what I'm saying, that possible interception that he threw into triple coverage to Emmanuel Sanders just to try to get him involved in the game? Like, come on, man. Like, that's what we do. We want to nitpick. We want to look at this one particular play and act like, you know, like this like that solves everything, right? Well, I got a stat for you. He had 95 yards late into the third quarter. 95 yards. 95 yards passing. And I think he had about 20 attempts at that time. 95 yards, like 20 attempts. Like, come on, man. Like that one play. Yeah. Thank you. Play calling is an issue. Yeah, man, it's all like it's never Drew Brees' fault, folks. Anytime the Saints lose, it's the play calling, right? It's the play calling in the offensive line. It's, you know, like it's always somebody else's fault. Drew Brees, not getting the ball down the field is an issue. Needs balance. Go down the field so to keep the defense honest. Yep, the defense already know what they're doing. So what do you expect? And we talk about the play calling. Well, if your quarterback can't consistently get the ball down the field, you're very limited to what you can do. What do you think about New Orleans Saints, TJ? Do you think if they clean it up, they give me a better team, in your opinion? And at quarterback position, do you think age matters? Yeah, of course age matters. Age matters. I don't think they really need to clean anything up. I just think that the lack of explosive plays are going to cost the Saints games. And Sean Payton's play calling from time to time is going to cost them plays too. I mean, cost them games as well. Because I seen a trend, you know, I seen a trend. I'm glad Sean Payton came out there and he was brave enough and honest enough to say that, you know, he didn't call a good game because they were up by 17 points and I seen him about to throw the football all over the place. And I'm like, why? Why? Because right now you're up 17 and the clock is on your side. So why are you sitting up there throwing a football, possible incompletions to stop the clock? You're playing into the hands of the opponent if you beating them by 17 points. Can we start 2-0 for the first time since 2013? Yeah, I think they will. I think they'll beat Las Vegas. I said we always struggle the first game of the season. Yeah, but I don't know. I'm looking. It seemed like this was a rerun. Offensively, it's like a rerun of that wild card game. That we do. Drew Brees should retire after this season. I feel like he is going to retire. I mean, all roads lead to him retiring. You're paying Demario Davis. You paid Alvin Kamara. You know, you pay Are you going to pay Lattimore? Are you going to pay Ramchick? I mean, where's the money for Drew Brees? I mean, you got to fill in the blanks. You steady talking about young quarterbacks. Yeah. Why shouldn't I? Because the league belongs to young quarterbacks now. They belong to young quarterbacks, whether you want to admit it or not. This league belongs to young, vibrant, scrambling quarterbacks. So, like I said, you can keep living in, back in the day when Drew Brees was around here with a strong pocket and Jonathan Goodwin and Jari Evans and Jemiah Bushrod was out here. Fine. But, man, you ain't winning nothing with a statue quarterback. You're not. I mean, as big as Trevor Lawrence is right now, about to come out of college in Clemson, this man out there running an RPO, 6'6", 225 pounds. And even Clemson is looking at the fact that even though he is a guy who is mostly will stand strong in the pocket, they got him running out the pocket. So, I mean, I can't accept some of these excuses, man. I mean, I think we just have to look at this for what it is. Andrea says still needs to warm up. Man, look, we need a Ferrari, man. We don't need a 1985 Plymouth Reliant here, okay? I know a Plymouth Reliant back in 1985, you had to warm it up, especially on them cold days. But look, man, I need a Ferrari, man. I need to go ahead and push the button and be about my way, and that's what I need right now. Because you got these Ferraris out here that are playing quarterbacks. You're not going to be able to afford. You're not going to be able to afford, to be sitting around here waiting for somebody to warm up. Like, honestly, do you think if the Saints played the Kansas City Chiefs, you think they would have been able to do some of the things they were doing out here? Like, honestly, you got to be able to play catch up and you got to be able to, like, move that ball down the field. Because those guys out there in Kansas City, all they need is about 3 or 4 plays and they scored a touchdown. You ain't going to be able to nickel and dime it there. Man, Mandy, and they are only 20. The league got linebackers running 4.3s. Mobile quarterbacks are in style now. Taysom makes us more dangerous. We let him be a quarterback, not a wildcat, one-dimensional player. Let him hand it off, play action, pass. Nobody won't stop us. Well, I seen a couple plays like that in the game, Preston. You can tell the Saints are opening up the playbook to Taysom. You can tell they trust him more. They believe in him more, and they should. Taysom has come a long way. You can see the growth in Taysom Hill when he plays the quarterback position. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and say, oh, man, he should be the starting quarterback of the Saints. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Like I said, I know the topic of conversation is Drew Brees on this edition, but let's not get it twisted, man. I mean, Drew Brees still gives you the best option to win. But I do feel like the Saints need to open it up with him when he is in a game where it's not just, like you said, just one-dimensional, and everybody know he coming in the game for RPOs. I like the fact that they use them in play action. I like the fact they use them on that trick play. And it's a quarterback doing it, so you have to account for the fact that he can throw the ball down the field. Robert says, I don't believe they got the you-know-what to say, hey, Drew, we don't think you can do it. Have a seat. They know this is the last season, and they're going to ride this thing out. Yeah, I mean, but he doesn't deserve to be benched. He don't deserve to be benched. I just said that, I feel like his limitations are going to cost the offense down the field as far as the explosive plays. I'm not saying that he don't put the team in the best position to win. He does. Okay, he's better. Like, even though he can't get the ball down the field consistently, he's still better than Taysom Hill, and he's definitely better than Jameis Winston. So he gives you the best option to win. I'm just saying that this might be a problem down the line if they can't find ways to, get the ball down the field. We won yesterday. Yeah. But are we going to wait till we lose and then we're going to sit up here and have a pity party for ourselves? Are we going to wait till, the Saints can't get the ball down the field and they end up losing a game in order for us to say, dang, you know what I'm saying? They can't get the ball down the field anymore. The best thing a person can do is evaluate themselves even in the good times. After I do the State of the Saints podcast, I go and I critique myself and I look at ways that I can get better, rather it be, my delivery, rather it be some of the questions I asked during interviews. And people say, oh, TJ, man, that was a great interview. I enjoyed it. Oh, that was a great show. I enjoyed it. But it still don't stop me from trying to better myself. You know, us talking about the Saints during a victory, I feel like it's more admirable than us waiting till they lose, because that would make us sound like a bunch of whiners. You know, oh, man, it didn't go our way today. Oh, man, fire the whole team. Like, let's talk about it in good times as well. Dang, TJ, you saying that just cancel the season then. Look, I ain't saying cancel the season, but it's pretty obvious. Why we got to close our eyes? Why are we closing our eyes to the obvious right now, folks? Let's stay positive. Brees will be solid majority of the time. Defense looks well improved. Good to see Murray getting more reps. Mike T, pretty much no show, and we still get the W. Malik, yeah, that's true. But, I mean, just because I'm talking about Drew Brees don't mean I ain't positive about the Saints. There are some good bright spots on this team. You can tell that the defensive line has gotten better. The linebackers look good. The secondary looks like they know what they're doing. They're playing faster. But it has absolutely nothing to do about my optimism for this season. It has everything to do with the fact of what I've seen over the last couple of times I've seen Drew Brees take the field. And I'm not going to wait till they lose to talk about it. Because I guarantee you, like, I'm sorry, if the Saints have these issues and they lose, I don't want to hear the people that's up here talking about we won yesterday. Oh, you know, like we gotta have faith. We gotta believe. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear you say anything about it, because here's the moment right now that we can talk about it and look at things, you know, for what they are. And, you know, I'm still going to answer your questions, you know, at the end, but look, we got to look at it too. Salute to you, brother. That near pick to Sanders is the same pick Brees threw against the 49ers last season. Poor decision making by a veteran quarterback. Man, Drew Brees could have had at least 3 interceptions in this game that I seen. He didn't have them. Okay, we got to give him credit for that. He didn't have any interceptions. But I seen 3, and I'm like, what was he thinking? You disrespecting Drew, and I don't like that. Well, it is what it is. And I don't think I'm disrespecting Drew Brees, because I'm saying something that's pretty obvious. And honestly, like, you know, if we can't critique our heroes and be objective about it, like, we might as well just, you know, I might as well don't even do a show. Like, if I'm going to sit up here and just tell y'all, oh, the Saints are great. Oh, man, they just the most wonderful team that ever graced God's green earth. And I know they, you know, this happened today and this happened, but just keep on having the faith. Like, if you're looking for that, man, I can't be that person. I'm sorry, man. I gotta be real with myself. I gotta be real with you all. And like I said, I'm happy they won yesterday. I really am. And we got to talk about Michael Thomas too, man. Michael Thomas. 3 catches, 17 yards, right? Long as he had 8 yards, he had 5 targets. And then he left the game limping. I mean, I think it's probably going to be an ankle injury. His ankle pretty much going to be sore in the morning. He probably sore right now. But he was a non-factor. Why was that? You know, you can look at this 2 ways. You can look at it like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense in the secondary has improved. Or you can look at it like, well, the Saints were probably trying to get other guys involved. I don't know if that was the case, you know, about getting other guys involved. Do I feel like Michael Thomas is going to be able to turn the corner? Absolutely. I do not believe that Michael Thomas is going to have 17 yards next game if he plays. Okay, it depends on the severity of that ankle injury. I think that Michael Thomas is a really good football player. I think that he makes the tough catches. Every catch that he caught yesterday was contested. He has vice grips for hands. But I do think that sometimes, like I said, the short intermediate routes can sometimes cause Michael Thomas games like this. You know, I feel like if the Saints can actually get him vertical from time to time, because he can go vertical, despite what other people may say about him. I think sometimes, like, when you become one-dimensional, you jamming them at the line of scrimmage, sometimes, it might be a little rough for him. So I think that Sean Payton didn't call his number enough. I think some of the plays that the Saints had weren't really designed for him. And I just think that was a long day. I mean, you got to give credit to the secondary in that regards. Davis for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is really good. He's really talented. So I'll give him credit on that. But I think Michael Thomas is going to be able to right the ship. But, I mean, I'm glad that I'm glad that he had a bad game. I'm glad that he had a bad game because it got me an opportunity to see some of the other guys that are out there. Guys like Emmanuel Sanders, guys like Deontay Harris, guys like Traquan Smith, people like Jared Cook. I mean, other guys outside of Michael Thomas that can make plays. So you can look at it that way. And I say to all those Buccaneers fans out there that was talking, Michael Thomas got shut down, yada, yada, yada. Well, your best receiver, Mike Evans, got shut down too. They shut him down, man. I mean, he scored a touchdown at the end of the game, but, I mean, it was straight garbage time right there, straight BFI, okay, garbage. Riverside, what's it called? River City, you know what I'm saying, trash. That's what that was, River City trash, because Marshawn Lattimore dominated him yet again, all right? And I know he didn't want to give him that credit on that top 100, but I guarantee he's going to put respect on his name this time because he shut him down not once, but in 2 meetings. But I feel like Michael Thomas is going to right the ship, and I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad that we've seen that other wide receivers can step up, and I think that is going to be great for the New Orleans Saints going forward. I'm so sick of Saints fans blaming the refs every game, TJ. Yeah, me too. Me too. Sometimes you got to take it out of the referee's hands. You got to. Sometimes you got to take it out their hands. It can't always be the ref's fault. Oh, the refs didn't call that. Well, why the game so close? If we got this high-powered offense everybody talking about, everybody want me to, talk about lay off Drew Brees. Why is this high-powered offense always being in games that's going down to the wire? Why they can't stop anybody, right? So that's the question that we really need to start asking ourselves. And that's one of the reasons why, I didn't even get into that conversation about that whole PJ Williams push-off. I didn't want to get into it. I mean, honestly, I just didn't want to get into it because at that point, it really didn't matter. The question is, why are you a 13-3 team at home in a wild card game and playing against a team that you're clearly better than, and why you're looking past that team because you think that you own a Green Bay next week? No, sir. Sometimes we got to look at it for what it is. The play calling, keeping these teams in a game when you're up by 14, 21 points. Why are these teams coming back? What are you calling? Why is the clock not on your side in some of these matchups? Sometimes we got to ask ourselves that. I'm going to read a few more, man, and then I got to get up out of here. I have an interview I have to do for the station. So Robert says the Saints would have beaten the Patriots in that Super Bowl they robbed us out of. I agree. Not only was that Super Bowl boring as hell, and I never watched it. I never watched that Super Bowl, ever. And I never will because the wrong team didn't go. Bradford is laughing. Calvin says, Chauncey with the chokehold on Evans. Yeah, you saw that, huh? When him and Marshawn Lattimore got into it. And CJ had that boy about to choke him out. But look, those two don't like each other. I said it on the last edition of the State of the Saints podcast. I mean, these guys aren't sending Christmas gifts to each other. And I think that's a healthy relationship or a non-relationship that they have. I mean, their job is to stop one another, right? Mike Evans' job is to, catch passes. Marshawn Lattimore's job is to stop him from catching passes. So, they hate each other. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Our head coach is too comfy. I won't say too comfy, but I mean, he just too. So there's nothing wrong with an aggressive play caller, but I think sometimes he's too aggressive. Too. Are you coming back tonight? Probably not. Probably not, man. My son is at home. He's been dealing with a little cough, so I gotta, take care of him. He has been at daycare for the last couple of days, so And then on top of that, man, I got to spend time with my wife, man. She's a wonderful person, man. She gives me an opportunity to talk to you all, and she doesn't complain at all, man. So I want to make sure I give my wife her time as well, and also my son, man. I got to. But I will be back on tomorrow, no doubt about that. He whipped Tom Brady, you know what? CJ Garner-Johnson about it. Yup. That mic is bomb, TJ. I appreciate that, Ghostface. Yeah. Hey, the power of the radio station's mic, man. Yeah, we got all the bells and whistles here. So yesterday was my B-Day, and I couldn't act for a better day. Who Dat Nation wins and made my B-Day a lot more enjoyable with family. Adrian, happy belated birthday, my brother. Thank you for being a part of the State of Saints podcast and the Who Dat Nation. Such satisfaction. Dude Brady came to beat us. Yeah, and caught that L. Salute to your queen. We hope Lil Man gets to feeling better, TJ. I appreciate that. Yeah, we've been keeping him at home. I mean, he has a cough. I mean, we know that it's nothing like, nothing serious. I mean, he's already been tested for COVID and stuff like that recently. So, I mean, y'all know how it is, man. Kids, get the little cough and stuff like that, especially going to daycare. I mean, they get runny nose from each other. They start coughing. So you got to keep it. But in these days, in this climate, man, you just definitely got to be safe. You know what I'm saying? You got to be prepared, and you got to make sure that you got to look out for the next person. I'm pretty sure, you send them to daycare, nothing's wrong, but at the same time, I would expect other parents to give my son and everybody else at the daycare the respect to keeping them at home when they're coughing or something like that. So I actually slept good, like the Bart Simpson meme. Yeah, Ray. I mean, I think we all slept good. We all slept good. And last, he says, we show them what's up. We aren't the ones. It's hard out here. It's the South. Yeah, it's definitely the South. He is not in the AFC East anymore, where the quarterback play is mediocre, to say the least. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast, and the audio version of the State of the Saints podcast is available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Just make sure that you take a few seconds of your day, if you have not already, subscribe to the streaming app, whatever streaming app you use. If you have an iPhone, the Apple Podcast is available there. Just take a few seconds because, like I said, we're really trying to grow the audio podcast. We're trying to get those numbers up, man, because, there's a lot of people out there that can't look at the show on YouTube, can't look at it live. So we definitely trying to get it up there. I'm trying to go for the number one spot. Okay. I'm trying to be the number one Saints podcast around. Okay. That's what I'm aiming for. And I need your help to do that. And also, if you want State of the Saints podcast apparel, clothing, and you want to support the State of the Saints podcast, you can go to teesprings.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast and purchase shirts, hats, coffee mugs. We got all type of accessories there. So teespring.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. That's teespring.com. And just support the State of the Saints podcast if you can. And all those out there that I think Hurricane Sally, if I'm not mistaken, I know my brother's out there, EJ, y'all seen him on the show last night. Everybody's that's out there in the path of Hurricane Sally, man, y'all be safe out there. Y'all be safe. Don't be trying to be a hero. Don't be talking about, I got to protect my house. Oh, I'm born here. I'm raised here. I'm going to die here. Look, let's be serious about this, folks. Ever since Hurricane Katrina, I'm always very on edge. I used to be like that, when hurricanes used to threaten the Gulf, they didn't show up. I get it. But be safe, folks, okay? If they're telling you to evacuate, please evacuate. No need to stay at home. No need to be in harm's way. No need to put yourself in that position. Everything in your house can be replaced, including your house. But there's only one you. So keep that in mind. And you be safe. And make sure that you're listening to the authorities and following instructions, please. Till next time, all I got to say is